Hey everybody, Good Kyle here, and first off I'd like to say that you'll probably notice an immediate difference in quality. I got a new microphone, I got a new recording ability, so you should see much better quality now. And you'll also notice that this is my first commentary, like official commentary, not first impressions, and it's pretty much just going to be a basic tips and tricks video for flying a jet in Battlefield 3. And again, I say basic because this is going to be I'm not going to teach you the ins and outs to become a master at jets. I mean, even I had problems at first where I couldn't even fly, or I'd crash into the ground 50 yards ahead of the spawn. And don't worry, it takes time, especially when you don't have these heat-seeking missiles you see right here. It does take time to level up your jet at the beginning, but it is worth it and it's a lot of fun. So, first off, I'm going to touch upon the controls. The only controls for basic flying you want to touch upon for the PS3 is L2, R2, R1, and both analog sticks. Now, let's start with the back buttons, because this will be much more simplistic in nature. L2, it's similar to vehicles if you've driven any type of vehicle in Battlefield. L2 is sort of reverse or slow down, and R2 is to accelerate or go forward. And that's the same thing with the jet. So like when you're making turns or you see something and you gotta slow down to get it, you just hold L2. Or if you need to go faster or you're stalling, which I'll get into in a minute, you push R2 and you go. And for those who you want to get an extra burst of speed, you simply click the left analog stick button, but it's not much, so it's nothing really important. Now, for what everyone has trouble with is the timing of releasing your flares if you have them. That is R1. And what you want to do when you're releasing your flares is wait until you hear the solid beep of, you know, being locked on, not the dun 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 sound. You want to actually just do it once you first hear the continuous noise. Now, the only problem with that, which is some people can trick you, I'll get into that in a second as well. Now, onto the analog sticks. As you'll see, I just went underneath a helicopter and I'm coming back around. And I'm sure some of you were asking, wow, how are you even keeping track of this helicopter? How are you even flying the jet? Well, think of it like this. With the left analog stick, all you really want to do is just push up with it. With the right analog stick, that's where all of your motion is going to be with flying a jet. So think of the right analog stick as gyroscopically stable. So if you're gonna turn left, as you see here, what you want to do is you want to push forward on the left analog stick and then push towards the left side of the right analog stick. And if that's confusing, I'm sorry, just play back the video and you should be able to grasp what I'm saying. And you do the same thing for the opposite side. So if you want to turn right, you have to push the left analog stick forward and you gotta push to the right of the right analog stick. Now, the fancy thing you just saw me do, I will not go into detail. This takes practice more often than not than what it can be taught to you. It's mostly used for avoiding and maneuvering, so don't try it on your first couple times in a jet. It's kind of it is difficult at first to get what you want in. What's a good example? Like when you first start out with a jet, all you pretty much have is a machine gun, and then you don't get the ATGM launchers, you don't get the missiles or anything like that, so you need to deal with what you have. And again, it's just a matter of practicing and figuring out when to push forward on the left analog stick and what way to turn with the right analog stick. Sort of, if you're familiar with helicopters, instead of left analog stick just being simply to turn, just ignore that altogether and just use it to push forward. What you're seeing here is me not rushing into a situation, and that's another thing with flying any vehicle. If you were getting targeted, if you were getting chased by two different vehicles, you do not want to rush. You don't want to be plowing into the ground. You don't want to fall into a trap and you become an easy target. And the best way to do that is to simply just get out of the way, don't focus on combat, just try and escape and then double back. As you'll see what I did. I had a jet and a helicopter on me, but I did a loop-de-loop, which I don't recommend you do. and I get into the helicopter in my sights again, which then lead me to eventually get the vehicle disable kill. Also can be taught into the like when you're close to ground and you're trying to shoot something on the bottom or just below you, don't dive in. Do not try to get a couple extra bullets into the tank or a vehicle or something. Just if you're gonna go too low and you have a feeling that you're too close to the ground, pull up immediately. And frankly, in my case, never ever pretty much point downward or go downward with your jet. It's really pointless, and it hardly will reward you unless you're performing a professional kamikaze, because I don't recommend it. You can see right there, I just dodged a helicopter, and you can turn with a jet without pushing the left analog stick, but you won't really go anywhere. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Also, to take of note, if you are slowing down with the L2 button too much, your jet will stall, meaning you won't really be able to move and you'll just start gravitating towards the ground. And when that happens, it can kill you. So I had many problems with this until a friend of mine pointed it out, saying you have to hold R2, which is the acceleration, and you just got to keep holding it until your jet recontrols, or you get recontrol of your jet. And the last thing I want to touch upon is a little trickery, so to speak. Once you get past the unbearable stage of using just a crappy machine gun on your jet, and you finally get heat-seeking missiles, you'll realize you can lock onto them and you can fire right away if you want. But personally, what I love to do if I'm facing an experienced jet pilot or a helicopter pilot, I'll lock onto them, but I'll keep it there for a few more seconds instead of firing right away. So, they release their flares if they have it, or they think it's the thing the soldiers carry that can lock on the air vehicles, and they just think it's an empty one of those. So they lull into a sense of relaxation, and then I hit them with the missiles, and they're like, "Ah, oh, damn it, he tricked me," and blah blah blah. And you feel good when you do it because you tricked them and you bested them that one time. So. There it is, guys, my tips and tricks on jets. I hope it helped. If it did, or you just want to talk about something or ask another question, leave a comment. Thanks everyone for watching.